Harrison, Nicol and Mann in the back row, Rapati and Cooper substitutes. For Warrington, with David Lyon at full-back, Drummond, Bateman, Forster and Kenyon, Turner and Ellis, Harmon, Mann and Sumner are the front row, Jackson, Mercer and Shelford the back three, with Richards and Phillips are the Warrington substitutes. Match day mascot for today is Christopher Malone. He's aged 8. He attends Sycamore Lane County Primary School. Obviously his hobbies are watching Warrington, the red belt karate. He does play mini rugby league on a Sunday, also enjoys swimming, and his favourite player is Kevin Ellis. Today's referee, Mr. It might be just as well as calling Mrs. I beg your pardon there, but Russell Smith from Castleford, one of the new line of referees that we've had in these seasons. A tough encounter. Paul Bishop, captain for today, and Bob Jackson for Warrington. And there's centre fielder, as I said, the Warrington match day mascot, Christopher Malone. There's Christopher just having his photograph taken with Bob Jackson, the Warrington captain. The match day officials, referee Russell Smith and Paul Bishop, ex-favourites here at Wilderspool, but now with the Saints. A big day for this young fella. Christopher Malone there, as I said, aged 8. Sycamore Lane County Primary attends. Just to reiterate, his favourite players, Kevin Ellis, and there he is just coming off. A big game this afternoon. Warrington need the point. They're in 4th position. Saints are in 2nd position. It's a tough encounter. Saints with a good win under the belt last week against Hull. And Warrington, they beat Salford. Salford struggling a little bit this season. Warrington to get us underway. Alan Hunt takes it on the full. Obviously an unaccustomed position to your regular Saints video viewers. Also this afternoon I've been asked to do it courtesy of you Warrington spectators. It's Paul Farber for the Saints now, taking it up to his 25. Moves it left, Jonathan Griffiths. Dwayne Mann quickly in. Saints nearly caught, a sloppy play the ball, and Paul Grove tidied it up. Last tackle of this sequence. Referee Smith just indicating with the outstretched arm. Beavers gets it away. Drummond takes it well. Well, Saints penalised her. Obviously, offside is the indication, and Des Drummond, he took it well. As a rule, the players have to just ease off and give Drummond 10 yards. But he was quickly in there. Warrington with the penalty, and the fine took 10 yards short of the Saints 25. Warrington again onto Neil Harmon, just caught him unaware there. Big forward this Neil Harmon, he's Helens lad. Excellent forward, but a knock on, that's to play the ball. Little bit of a mix up there, Phil Sumner and Dwayne Mann. First scrum of the match. Saints head and ball. Paul Bishop will feed it. Still stuck in the pack, but Saints do have scrum possession. Bishop is quickly in there. Harrison brings it away. Sonny Nicol tidies up. No doubt the tackling will be the main thing today, and George Mann bustling through. Solid tackling from Warrington, always been renowned as a tackling side of Warrington. Groves wants a quick play of the ball, it's now with Paul Farber. Drives upfield, as I said before, but in an unaccustomed position, probably for both St Helens and Warrington video viewers. But the game's being televised by Granada. 2 o'clock kick-off, obviously, as you know, Grand National Day, boat race day and what have you. And therefore we're ensconced in the back of the Brian Bevan stand. Paul Bishop gets his kick away, David Lyon covers quickly. Saints move up, Drummond comes in field. Connolly goes in and completes the tackle as David Lyon had looped round. Neil Harmon from acting half-back. Taken down by Connolly again and Paul Farber. Now it's Dwayne Mann, cousin of Saints. Loose forward today, George Mann. But solid tackling again, George Mann and Jonathan Griffiths combined. Warrington moving it over to the right. Loose play. Saints have possession. Tony Sullivan tidies it up on the far side. Loughlin from acting half-back. Malcolm Reilly, he's here today, obviously ruling the roost over some of the players. The test side to be named on Monday. And of all places to name it, at Wigan. You didn't expect anything else, did you? They're getting on everything, the Pie Eaters, don't they? It's John Harrison, up to the 25. Paul Groves attacking half-back. Saints in possession, in the Warrington 25. Kevin Ward, he's bursting through, looking for support, turned in the tackle. Warrington complete the tackle, but Saints putting the pressure on. Moving it left, onto Farber. Well taken down, well tackled in the far side there by Warrington. Saints will move it in field, it's Bishop. Little chip kick through. Taken by Ellis, I think it is, working his way through. Kevin Ellis gets it away, the ball's past the Warrington man, but the strength of the tackle shakes the ball from his hands and Connolly tidies up. Excellent break there from Kevin Ellis, under pressure in his own 25. Groves out to Alan Hunt, he takes it well. There's no room for him, he has to come back inside. The tackle's completed there. Groves again, Bishop, on to John Harrison. Harrison looking for space. Drives up to the 25 now. Kevin Ward running again, excellent runner. Inside ball to Groves, but the old sister Duffy passed to Paul Groves. George Mann juggles with it but manages to gather it. Loose play and very bravely John Harrison goes down on it with a lot of Warrington defence and Bob Jackson there coming in to complete the tackle. John Griffiths chips it through. Saints follow it up. Sonny Nicholl there, but the ball's loose. Nicholl following it up. And Des Drummond at the far side. He has to jump over the hoardings. But Saints putting a bit of pressure on. Jonathan Griffiths chipping it through. Warrington couldn't take it cleanly. Des Drummond, one of the defenders at the far side. It was finally knocked dead. And Warrington will have to drop out from right between the sticks. 6 minutes of the game gone, no score at present. It's having most of the game so far. Phil Beavers takes it well. Drives it up, releases it to Paul Loughlin. A lot of players here will be looking to impress Malcolm Reilly in the stand here at Warrington. As before he finalises his team with Kevin Ward again, whether Kevin Ward has relented. Well, excellent ball from Ward to Griffiths. Groves was there, but Griffiths couldn't release it. And Saints have been awarded a penalty for holding Jonathan Griffiths down. I would imagine Saints will have a go for goal. But Saints moving up quickly, as we say about Kevin Ward. Blockbusting forward, whether he has relented or changed his mind. Not relented, he said he wasn't available for international duty. But as he says, he's one of the best prop forwards knocking about in the First Division. And Kevin Ward powering his way up to the Warrington line. Paul Loughlin, 17 goals so far this season. Been out 6 months, over 6 months, with a serious arm injury. He's looking to open the account here against the wire. So Paul Loughlin, 15 yards out, we can say, just to the right of the sticks. As a rule, wouldn't have any problem. And there it goes, 7.5 minutes gone. Paul Loughlin opens the scoring, and it's Saints in the lead by 2 points to nil. Warrington penalised for holding down in the tackle. Jonathan Griffiths wanted to play it quickly. He wasn't allowed to. Russell Smith moved in quickly, penalised Warrington, and Loughlin converted it into points. Deep kick, Gary Connolly takes it well. We've got Connolly and Loughlin. Connolly been out injured for a couple of games since the international over in France when he played for the under-21s. Took an ankle injury. And Loughlin also back in looking to take his place. And to be quite honest, I mean, there's no substitute for class. He's an excellent three-quarter centre. It's Paul Loughlin. Kevin Ward again, inside to Paul Groves, bringing it blindside, looking for the gap is Groves. Neil Harmon wrestles into the ground, excellent tackle from Harmon. But now Jonathan Griffiths bringing it blindside, no way through for him. Well covered there by Mark Forster. The ball back to Bishop. Forster tried to put the angle down, it's on to David Lyon. Scorer of an excellent try against Salford last week was David Lyon. A try out of nothing. Warrington were up on the Salford line. Then the ball came back. Warrington losing about 20-25 yards, but Lyon, he just wound his way through. Excellent try. That's going to be a knock-on, that. Warrington knock-on. Came through, Saints couldn't gather it. Warrington chipped it forward, and Alan Bateman on the far side finally dropping on it. It's a scrum down with the Saints feed. Second scrum of the match. And Saints taking the first scrum. Bishop feeds, Saints possession again. Loughlin coming through. Saints spreading it quickly. Quick hands was the order of the day, but just going loose there, and Alan Hunt tidied it up. And solid tackling from Warrington. Always a team that's been renowned for solid tackling. Bishop onto Sonny Nicol. Turns in the tackle. Up to the halfway line. Phil Sumner, one of the tacklers there, and Sumner's in again, but Ward gets it away to Phil Beavers. Out to Sonny Nicol. Well, Jonathan Griffiths taking on suspicion there. He was coming through looking for the pass, and Mark Forster took him down. It was a little high, but Griffiths just taken referee Smith right in on the job. Bob Jackson, he's the captain for today, just asking the questions, but as is the norm, you don't get much satisfaction out of the referees. But as I told you before, we're just right at the back of the stand, and obviously in the thick of things. Not many Saints speckies around with me, plenty of wire. But Saints moving it up, and Bishop going for the line, just held up 2 or 3 yards short. George Manus acting half-back, Saints swinging it out. Griffiths onto Sonny Nicol, pushes one tackle off. A long pass over to the far side, an awkward ball. Sonny Nicol threw it out, and it didn't bounce kindly for Tony Sullivan, went directly into touch. A scrum down now, 20 yards from the Warrington line. Warrington feed. Kevin Ellis to feed it. Desi Drummond comes inside. Warrington in possession, and Saints cover defence coming over extremely quickly. Dwayne Mann chips it downfield, looking to find touch. Can Phil Beavers cut it off? He can't. The ball going into touch. Excellent touch finder from Dwayne Mann. Finds touch about 10 yards short of the Saints line. Only on about the third tackle, I think that was. Well, excellent kicking tactician there, Dwayne Mann. Booted it right downfield. As I say, puts the pressure on the Saints, even though it's Saints head and feed. It's still down with, as I said, just 10 yards short of the Saints line. Bishop onto Tony Sullivan. Solid tackling again. And the wire tried to take Sullivan. Well, he's lost the ball, and Saints have to scoop it dead. So Warrington putting a lot of pressure. Warrington putting a lot of pressure on the Saints. Always a difficult bone of contention, those where the player's being tackled and then the ball comes loose. As we know now, there's no ball stealing, but it's obviously a difficult area, a grey area. It was kicked dead or scooped dead by Phil Beavers. So Phil Beavers now just having to come onto the pitch to retrieve the ball. He'll drop out from between the uprights. Warrington putting Saints under pressure. 13 and a half minutes gone. 2 points to nil in the Saints' favour, and David Lyon bringing it blindside. Connolly comes in, completes the tackle. Well, the man stood up in the tackle. The Warrington spectators don't like it, but the man stood up in the tackle. It is a body contact sport, and we've got to get the man wrestling to the ground unless the referee has shouted held. Nothing wrong in that at all, but it's the away man for Warrington. Warrington in possession, moving it infield. Neil Harmon, he brings it down. Dwayne man for Warrington, that's acting half-back. Kelly Shelford moving over to the right. Lovely switch of play as Warrington come in on the opposite diagonal. Now, the second row, Gary Mercer, transformed from the centre into the second row. Warrington moving it out. Well, the ball meant for Desi Drummond, but unfortunately he couldn't take it. Must have touched the Saints player and gone into touch as they scrum down with the Saints feed. 15 minutes gone. Ellis to feed the scrum. 3-2 in the Saints' favour so far as Warrington bring it close field. David Lyon linking up. Yes. Lyon gets the ball out to Neil Kenyon, and Kenyon goes in for the first try in the corner. I don't know whether your view has been obstructed by some of the spectators in front of us, but Warrington go in for the first try of the afternoon, just on the 15th minute. They broke from the far side, did Warrington. They came over, David Lyon linking up. The final pass from Lyon to Kenyon. A lofted pass there. Kenyon took it well. He beat the Saints cover defence. Touchdown in the corner. Difficult conversion attempt now for Rocky Turner. But Warrington in the lead by 4 points to 2. And as we said, Turner, you can see there only a yard or so infield. And about 22 or 23 yards back. No, it's just to the left of the sticks. But 16 minutes of play we've had. And Warrington in the lead by 4 points to 2, courtesy of that Kenyon try. Excellently taken. Certainly Warrington going through a bad patch. They lost 4 out of the last 5 before playing Salford last Sunday. They came through with a win of 14 points to 10. Tries from Lyon, well, 2 from Lyon and Forster, with a goal by Turner. They need the points. They're in 4th position. Saints in 2nd, as I said, and I don't think there's anybody can oust the Saints from 2nd spot. But certainly a win here this afternoon would cement that 2nd position. It's Lyon again. Playing excellently so far is David Lyon. Jonathan Griffiths completes the tackle, but Warrington bringing it over to the left again. Ellis comes when the ball's lost. That's a knock-on given, but the Warrington man there picked it up in an offside position with Gary Mercer. But the referee there just moving in and giving the knock-on. As I've said before, it's obviously a grey area about ball stealing and what have you, as we know it's illegal. But Saints have scrum possession. Right on the halfway line. George Mann at acting half-back, well tackled there. Groves, Bishop along the line to Sonny Nicol. Warrington quickly in at the tackle. Bob Jackson, one of the tacklers there. And now it's John Harrison for the Saints, 10 yards inside the Warrington half. Groves, Barber moving it blindside. Barber turns infield, looking to release, but excellent tackling on the far side. Paul Bishop, crossfield kick, trying to put pressure on Neil Kenyon. Kenyon there, and Lyon links up with him, but Gary Conley homes in on him, brings Kenyon down. Excellent tackle, but good play from David Lyon there. Excellent play from this fullback, linking up in the line at every available opportunity. And there's Lyon at dummy half again. The Saints are penalised for offside. And Warrington win the penalty there. The Saints moving up too quickly at the play the ball. Lyon finds touch, 5 yards short of the Saints, 25. And now Warrington with a platform and 6 tackles to build up to hopefully, as far as they're concerned, penetrate the Saints line again. Rocky Turner, excellent ball there to Mercer. Warrington coming through, charging well. Now it's Bob Jackson, Kevin Ward, John Harrison and Sonny Nicol combine to hold him up in the tackle, don't actually put him to ground. Dwayne Mann, Ellis. Warrington turn it back, Mercer turns it back to Sumner. He turns in the tackle, he's looking to release it, but Farmer wraps him up, and Dwayne Mann again attacks in half. Gary Mercer, the pitch heavily sanded, looks in rather poor condition, the Warrington pitch, but Saints behind their own line. Dwayne Mann chips it through. Warrington has scored, Bob Jackson follows it up, Dwayne Mann chips through, and Warrington in it again for another try. Excellent work there from Dwayne Mann, very close to the line. Saints, as I said, forced to defend behind their own line, or on the line, and Dwayne Mann chipped it through. The Saints cover defence couldn't take it, and Bob Jackson burst through, touched it down, extended the Warrington lead to 8 points to 2, and a chance now for Rocky Turner to pop this one over an easier position from the last attempt. So Turner, 3 goals before this afternoon match, there's his 4th for the season, extends the Warrington lead now to 10 points to 2. So Saints under the cosh at present, and Bishop gets it underway. 20 minutes of the half gone, and Kenyon there couldn't take it cleanly, knocks on in his in-goal area. So whereas Warrington would have been in possession, obviously with the Saints defending, it's now Warrington that'll have to drop out from between the sticks. But Saints back in possession. Phil Beavers takes it cleanly, moves it over to the left, George Mann loops round him. Bob Jackson, the try scorer, in there at the tackle. Dwayne Mann as well, but Groves brings it to John Harrison. Neil Harmon quickly in, Dwayne Mann again. Solid tackling from Warrington. And Saints just looking a little lacking in idea at present. Well taken as they try to move it near to the play of the ball. Kevin Ward running strong, turns it infield. Loughlin tidies up, the ball going back. Kevin Ward unloading as ever, but Loughlin there, he had to go down bravely on that ball. As George Mann runs strong onto it, turns in the tackle, looking to release. Last tackle of this sequence now. Connolly couldn't take it cleanly, knocks it forward, it was on the 6th tackle, and the changeover is indicated. Bob Jackson plays it, Dwayne Mann releases it to Neil Harmon. 10-2 in Warrington's favour. After Saints having most of the advantage in the early minutes, Warrington come through with 2 tries in quick succession. 2 tries and a goal within the space of 4 minutes. Ellis Warrington spreading it over to the right. Saints forced to defend. Warrington in possession, just penetrating the Saints half. Tony Sullivan coming in, completing the tackle. Warrington will move it over to the right. Well, the ball hitting Paul Bishop and going into touch. Unlucky there, but the scrum down with the Warrington feed. Tactical kicking from Warrington. Saints making a dual substitution. Shane Cooper is coming on for Paul Farber. And we've got Tira Patty. He'll be coming on for Paul Groves. So both Saints substitutes coming on. Farber and Groves coming off. 23 minutes of the game gone. Reshuffling the Saints ranks. Cooper will go to loose forward. George Mann in the front row. Maybe, no, well, Tia Rapati has gone straight into the second row. Saints coach Mike McLennan. He obviously thinks that Saints need the encouragement there of Shane Cooper. Got the touch judge on the far side. He's obviously come on for an infringement. Plenty of plenty of action there in the far side. But referee Smith is bringing Kevin Ward out. Paul Bishop there, whether Paul Bishop is still captain, he's listening in on to the conversation. Be a penalty to Warrington. Warrington are going to have a go for goal, and why not? Every available opportunity. They're already in the lead by 10 points to 2, looking to extend it with this penalty goal. Turner on the far side. 8 yards in. Well, 28 yards from the Saints line. So far this season in the league against Warrington, a tightly contested match up at Nosey Road. Saints managed to come through that match 27 points to 20 they won. They played Warrington 3 times last season. An emphatic league win at Nosey Road, 62-16. But losing here at Wilderspool by 34 points to 20. What an excellent conversion there to that penalty award for an infringement by Kevin Ward, as Turner converts the award into points. And Warrington extend the lead to 12 points to 2. A deep kick there, and Warrington there, they'll an alleged high tackle there. George Mann is the man that's going to be singled out, I think. But certainly didn't look anything from here. Russell Smith came in. Obviously all the full-time and part-time referees we have in the stand here are just saying what they think about the decision, but at the actual time of the tackle you'll probably be able to hear we didn't have any emotion whatsoever around here. It was only after the event, after referee Smith had blown up, but George Mann's been spoken to. The Warrington player still down injured, just receiving treatment. Bob Jackson there, the Warrington captain, he's just having words with referee Smith. But the penalty awarded to Warrington. 12 points to 2 the score, 13 minutes of the half remaining, plus any stoppage time. It's Gary Mercer now back up to his feet. Tough competitor Mercer. So Lyon finds touch on this Brian Bevan stand side. I can well imagine that Saints coach Mike McLennan He'll be reading the riot act at half-time, unless there's a sudden change in the Saints' performance. Neil Harmon, excellent ball from Harmon out to Ellis. Cooper and Griffiths bring him down. Dwayne Mann, as ever, attacking half-back, and Warrington move it to the right. Well, a knock-on indicated there. And as ever up here, certainly the referee right on the job, but no emotion from the spectators up in the stand. But Warrington knocking on. He Saints to feed it. Bishop out to Jonathan Griffiths. Warrington move over quickly, complete the tackle. Saints taking the scrums 5-2 on my card. But Warrington in the lead, and good ball from Laughlin to Tony Sullivan. Hers up the wing, but he's tackled on the far side. The touch judge is in for an infringement, obviously over here on the left. Somebody taken down out of play in the Saints ranks. We was following the ball, but it was Sullivan that was forced into touch. 10 yards short of the Warrington 25. It's Phil Beavers that's been felled. The touch judge obviously up with play, and then as Sullivan was forced into touch, he came on to report to referee Smith. Certainly we was following the ball though. We didn't, well, I didn't see what had happened. That's Phil Beavers receiving treatment from Saints physio Jeanette Smith. The Warrington player down there on the far right, and the touch judge finally reported to referee Smith. Well, they still don't know what's happening, I don't think, do they? Doesn't surprise you, does it? But it's Neil Harmon that's being singled out. It'll be a penalty to the Saints. Well, Harmon got 10 minutes in the sin bin. Well, Neil Harmon comes off for 10 minutes in the cooler. And as you can probably hear from the shouts, heavily infested with Warrington spectators round this area. They're complaining about the tackle George Mann before. But that was an off-the-ball incident. George Mann again comes through, shrugs the first defender off. Cooper at dummy half, on to Kevin Ward. Saints will have to capitalise now on this 10 minutes, while the Warrington are down, the Wire are down to 12 men. Sonny Nichols turns in the tackle, trying to drive up to the 25. Cooper again, onto Bishop, takes his eye off the ball, much to the delight of the Warrington faithful. Unfortunately, Saints trying to build a charge up there, and Paul Bishop took his eye off the ball, knocked it forward. Scrum down now with Ellis to feed. Certainly leave a lot to be desired, these scrums in rugby league. But Warrington in the lead, 12 points to 2. 31 minutes of the game gone, plus any stoppage time. And Bob Jackson for Warrington. Excellent competitor. Well, he's lost the ball. Knock on indicated. Bob Jackson there, he pushes Tirapati away. He's not happy with it. But Warrington have been penalised, obviously, for mouthing. That's Bob Jackson. He's the captain. He's there to ask the question. He wasn't happy with the decision. But Saints have been awarded the penalty. A fine touch in the Warrington 25, and it's now John Harrison driving up to the Warrington line. George Mann turning in the tackle. Tackling again. Sumner coming in over the top. Warrington urged to get back on side as Tirapati moves it blindside. Bishop, Cooper, on to Kevin Ward. Ward still driving forward, about 8 yards from the Warrington line. Beavers up in the line there. Rapati, Griffith. Inside ball, Rapati couldn't take it. The ball's loose, it's going to be a knock-on. Saints knock on, then Warrington knock on. But the first knock on that will be taken, and it's a scrum with the Warrington feet. Kevin Ellis to feed now. Warrington wins scrum possession. Ellis comes round the back of the scrum. Excellent competitor, Ellis, one of 3 Welshmen in the Warrington side. Jonathan Griffith, another Welshman there in the Saints ranks, along with Tony Sullivan. They all combined in the Welsh squad that beat France last weekend at Swansea. Back to David Lyon. Deep kick. Shouldn't be any problem for Beavers. Sits up nicely for him. Warrington will have to give him 10 yards. Excellent tackling as Warrington move up. Connolly at dummy half, inside to George Mann. Bringing it blindside. Rocky Turner, Jackson and Kelly Shelford in at the tackle there. As Sonny Nicol looks for the gaps in the Warrington defence, but there's not been many so far this afternoon. Warrington with the 2 tries. Saints solitary score. A Paul Loughlin penalty goal. Tira Patty brings it up just short of the halfway. Loughlin again, the dummy half. Cooper and Loughlin work the loop movement. Saints started off like a house on fire, but then it was Warrington that came into their own. Last tackle of this sequence. Harrison to Bishop. Crossfield kick. Putting pressure on Kenyon. Takes it well. Connolly comes in. Brings him down. And now Warrington regroup. Mark Forster 10 yards outside his own 25. Still 12 points to 2 the score. 5 minutes of normal time plus the stoppage time. Got a couple of minutes of stoppage time for the touch judges' reports and what have you. But Dwayne Mann, tactical kick from him. Big space. Beg your pardon. Just corrected in front of me by a fine Warrington spectator who says it was Kelly Shelford, but whoever it was, he found touch just short of the Saints 25. Bishop to feed. Saints have scrum possession. Gary Connolly, another one looking to impress Malcolm Reilly this afternoon. But Bob Jackson completing the tackle. Cooper, Griffiths, out to Loughlin, out to Tony Sullivan. Past Des Drummond, was on the outside, but well taken, and just forced into touch short of the 25. Excellent ball there from the Saints. He moved it to crossfield. Pinpoint precision from Paul Loughlin. Out to Tony Sullivan. He just beat Des Drummond, but the cover defence came in and forced him into touch on the Warrington 25. Well, one against the head there. Saints have scrum possession. But Warrington there penalised. Obviously not happy with it. Over on the far side, we couldn't pick out there, but Bob Jackson is coming in, he's asking the questions, he's just ushered away by referee Smith. But Saints had, it seems that Saints had won the ball against the head. The referee had taken the Warrington side, and then another infringement had taken place, and Paul Loughlin is going to have a go for goal. Paul Grove just coming on as Sandman. Shane Cooper on the bench today. He's a thumb injury that we thought might have kept him out of this afternoon's match. We've also got Les Quirk out with a bit of concussion. Mike Riley in the panel, but headache selection now for Saints coach Mike McLennan. But it's Loughlin looking for an extra couple of points. Saints trailing by 10 points, 12-2 the score, 5 minutes before the interval. Warrington, excellent value this afternoon for the 12 points to 2 lead. Capitalised on the Saints slack tackling, and that's when Saints coach Mike McLennan brought on the 2 substitutes. The last kick being waved away by the touch judges. Warrington to drop out from the centre of the 25-yard line. 2 minutes of normal time, plus the stoppage, any stoppage time. Brian Johnson, the Warrington coach, no doubt he'll be happy with the 12 points to 2 lead, but no doubt he'll emphasise on the Warrington side where they are going wrong. And Saints coach Mike McLennan, master tactician in his own right, he'll be certainly reading the riot act. Tirapati, an ever-present in the Saints side this season, stepped down to the bench for this afternoon's clash to give Paul Loughlin and Gary Connolly an extended run in the 3 quarters. Obviously a selection problem in the Saints ranks now when everybody's fit. Loughlin out to Tony Sullivan, he took it well, he has to come in field. Quick hands by the Saints, trying to beat the oncoming Warrington defence. The last tackle now, Bishop lost his high. A tester for David Lyon, but no problem for him. Excellently taken by David Lyon. Jonathan Griffith was following it up. Shane Cooper was there. Cooper penalised there for kicking as the ball was going to be played. It's only when the ball is actually placed on the ground that it's available for strike. David Lyon dummied to play the ball, and Cooper struck for it, but he was duly penalised. So last attack in this first half for Warrington. Back to the full complement now. Well, not nearly back to the full complement. He's ready to come on. He's Neil Harmon. 10 minutes in the sin bin, and Saints unable to penetrate the Warrington line. Mercer for Warrington now. Dwayne Mann bringing it blindside. Cooper brings him down. Sonny Nicholl and Alan Hunt in at the tackle. They tried to force him into touch. Neil Harmon back on there now. So they say Warrington back to the full complement with no further dent in the score. Gary Mercer taken down by Connolly and Ward. Dwayne Mann on to Kelly Shelford. Beavers takes it. Sits up nice for him. Beavers drives up to the 25. Alan Hunt looms round him, but Neil Kenyon comes in. Saints move it over to the left. Tirapati gets it away to Bishop, over the top to Griffith. Well, he's well clamped there. The ball, well, Saints were looking to move it out quickly. George Mann onto Paul Loughlin. But excellent tackle from Warrington there on Jonathan Griffith. Clamped him well. Bishop onto Harrison. Losing his footing, John Harrison goes down 10 yards short of the halfway. Just over a minute of stoppage time we've played. Bishop, Nicholl, Griffith looming round for the return pass from Nicholl, but he was well tackled. Now Bishop bounces over Kenyon's head, not much you could do about that. Crossfield kick to touch on the Brian Bevan stand side by Paul Bishop. Neil Kenyon, he couldn't take it, bounced awkwardly over his head into touch, strung down on the Warrington 25 with the Warrington feed. Neil Kenyon now comes infield. 12-2 the score and 2 minutes of stoppage time played. Loose play by Warrington in their own 25, but well sided up. Inside to Kenyon. Excellent cover there. Mark Forster, Alan Bateman, I beg your pardon, coming across from the right centre, 3-quarter position, over to the left. Now to David Lyon. Crossfield kick. Bounces infield, and Beavers should take it comfortably. Tony Sullivan looms round, but Beavers has to take the tackle. Bob Jackson upends him. Excellent one-to-one tackling. Aussie to Aussie. But now it's Tony Sullivan from the acting half-back position. And Bishop now inside ball to John Harrison. There's a half-time hooter. Excellent value for Warrington's lead in the first half. 12 points to 2 the lead. It was Saints that opened the scoring in the 7th minute with a Paul Laughlin penalty goal, but then it was all Warrington. In the 15th and 19th minute we had tries from Kenyon and Jackson. The Jackson try converted by Turner, and then in the 25th minute Kevin Ward penalised for an indiscretion, and Turner pops over the penalty goal. So the half-time score here at Wilderspool Warrington is Warrington 12, I beg your pardon, St Helens 2. Now for the second half of this crucial Stones Bitter League Championship clash. Warrington in the lead at half-time, 12 points to 2. Top 4 clash. Saints in second position, Warrington in 4th. Points crucial all along the line, but I can't see there being any difference in the top 2 with Wigan and Saints obviously contesting. But referee Smith there, he's just waiting for the nod from the touchline. As I said, it's a televised game and you've got to wait for the old royal nod before we get underway. The crowd just getting a little impatient. But there we are, Bishop gets us underway with a deep kick. Saints making 2 substitutions in the 23rd minute of the first half. Warrington still with the same starting lineup. And no doubt if I have any difficulty picking any of the Warrington spectators, I'll be out from a couple of impartial persons in front of me. There's Warrington in possession. Saints tackling after hold firm. Neil Harmon gets it away to Dwayne Mann. He shakes the tackle of Tia Rapatioff. Gains a further 10-15 yards upfield. He plays it to himself. Surely he was marked there, but the referee says not. It was on the last tackle. Mark Forster is it inside. No Alan Bateman it is. It's on the 6th tackle list. Now with Kevin Ellis, but he's lost possession. Sonny Nichols tidied it up. And the changeover's given there. Beavers onto Connolly. Turns it inside now to Phil Beavers along to Bishop. Rapate coming through, but no way through for him. Excellent clamp tackling. Usually a hallmark of Warrington is the gang tackling, 2 and 3, 4 men in, and then lining out. Well, it's Saints again. George Mann turns back to Cooper, tries to unload it. Ward tidies it up, but the ball's loose. A knock-on indicated. So Warrington sticking to the task. It's the captain there, Bob Jackson, going in. Kevin Ward, he had to take that. He didn't really expect the ball. Cooper turned in and moved it out quickly. Ellis to feed, Warrington possession. Desi Drummond tries to round his man. Now why are you coming? Excellent campaigner, Desi Drummond, about 31 years of age. I know he's a black belt in judo. Had 9 seasons. I don't know if there's any testimonial season at Lee. Excellent campaigner. Saints lose possession. Warrington pick it up. The referee not playing advantage as far as Warrington are concerned. But Laughlin, I think it was, coming through. Solid tackling from Warrington, and it's certainly shaking the ball out of the Saints' hands in the tackle. But loose play there from Warrington as they move it over to the left. Bob Jackson. Diagonal run, strong running Australian forward. Now it's the wire again, trying to set up an assault. Well, excellent ball there. Play on! What's the gun backwards? Warrington Harrison there carving a big hole in the Saints defence. But Saints tidying it up. It's Gary Mercer, turns it infield to Dwayne Mann. Certainly a lot of holes emerging in the Saints ranks. Harmon driving for the line, sixth and final tackle. You can bet this will go in the earth. Chipped through there by Ellis, touched the Saints hands. Well, Sonny Nichols taking on suspicion. Tackle count way clean, and Nichols couldn't gather it. Warrington have another 6 tackles to make it count. He's held just short. The Warrington man trying to dive in at short range. Now moving it over to the left. Inside to Neil Harmon. Yes, Harmon's in. Neil Harmon goes in at short range, 4th minute of the second half. And after a Warrington man had nearly gone in right by the stick, it was moved out to the left. Then it was turned infield and Harmon was running through. And these big forwards, they certainly take a lot of pulling down, especially when they're running at pace. And that's the order of the day, run at pace. But the Saints line is penetrated yet again. It extends the Warrington lead to 16-2. And it's going to be a Turner. He shouldn't have any problem. He should back heel this over. Turner lost it over, no problem. 18 points to 2 is the score. Neil Harmon try, converted by Rocky Turner. And certainly Saints an uphill battle to come back from this score now. Certainly before we came here today, obviously you can't underestimate any game, but the way Warrington have been playing, you'd expect them to be a little lacklustre, but certainly on their own bidding, they're a good side. The Saints will have to buckle down, an early setback in the second half. Dwayne Mann pirouettes, drives forward. Harrison and Nicholl bring him to ground. Gary Mercer takes up the acting half-back position. Saints forced the line out. Dwayne Mann out to Bob Jackson, running strong. And these forwards running onto this ball. That certainly makes the Saints task a lot harder to stop the man when he's running at pace. But Lyon on the 6th tackle. Kicks it deep. It's going to run dead. Alan Hunt on the far side just watches it run dead. Saints will restart with a tap from the centre of the 25. Tirapati. Neil Harmon in at the tackle. Bishop at dummy half onto George Mann. Now it's Sonny Nicholl, the Saints runner. Well, certainly looked a little high as he came through. Bob Jackson and Phil Sumner, I think it was on that occasion. Harrison now breaking through onto Bishop. Well, tripped there by Ellis. Ellis, the chance to say he's going to be sent off. Well, Ellis came through. He did take Bishop. He did take his legs as he came round the back. As Bishop tried to get away, and he's been dispatched from the field. So Kevin Ellis sent off. That'll be clear on your video there. As the ball was unloaded, I think it was Harrison onto Bishop. He did take Paul Bishop's legs, swept them, and the referee saw it and he's dispatched for the early bath, the old proverbial early bath. So 7 minutes and a half gone. Ellis off for the rest of this match. Saints looking for the first try. Beavers at dummy half, he's looking to his left. The ball goes to the right. Warrington penalised for offside. Obviously they've got to move up quickly, but Cooper plays it quickly. He's tackled. back to Bishop, moves it left, Jonathan Griffith. Sullivan takes it well, he has to come in field to Rapati. Looks to beat the cover defence, out to Griffiths again, back to George Mann. Tate's throwing it out of it, but the Warrington cover defence moving in quickly. Rapati at dummy half. On to Kevin Ward, driving for the line, he's one back to Bishop, yes. Bishop's over. States with the first try, and Paul Bishop won't see, love that, against his old side. But Paul Bishop moved inside, and who's that old war horse again, Kevin Ward, taking up the cudgels, and as ever, Ward looking to unload. Bishop always there on his shoulder. Kevin Ward, he's been quoted as saying that there's only one man he fears in the State side, and that's Paul Bishop. He's always there prodding and probing. Ellis there sent off Saints with the penalty, and Saints putting the ball about a bit, but finally getting over right at the side of the sticks with that Paul Bishop try. It's his 10th try of the season, and now a chance for Paul Loughlin, already on the board with one. That's his second. Puts it back in, it's 18 points to 8. So Paul Bishop try there, converted by Paul Loughlin, his second goal of the afternoon. And Saints back in the hunt now at 18 points to 8. And Warrington will have to try that a bit harder, obviously, because they're down to 12 men for the remainder of the game, as Ellis dispatched the tripping offence. And the Warrington faithful there, feeling there was an infringement, just out of my view, but Nicol losing the ball backwards. Well, the ball going backwards there, Bishop picked it up. Nothing wrong with that at all, but referee Russell Smith ruling it was a knock-on. And the impartial Warrington spectators here agreeing with me that it wasn't a knock-on. We know it wasn't a knock-on, but the referee Smith there just imposing his authority on the game. We've often seen it before when a side's one man down, that they certainly do try harder and can always come up with a score. Saints will have to stick to the task and make sure that Warrington, who are 18 points to 8 in the lead, don't have that facility this afternoon. Des Drummond coming in field, looking for a piece of the action. He's stepping up as acting halfback. It's the 6th and final tackle. It's with Rocky Turner, but he tries a drop goal. It goes to the left of the sticks. You'll not get a more plumb chance than that. It was on the 6th tackle, so it's going to be a 25-yard tap restart, which George Mann takes and puts it on to Kevin Ward, so he's there on his own. 10-point cushion for Warrington. We played nearly 12 minutes of the second half. Warrington a man down with Ellis, and he's certainly instrumental, is Ellis, in making this Warrington side 6. What an excellent crunching tackle there. Neil Harmon and Rocky Turner. It's now with Rapati, looking for space, moving it over to the right, gives the dummy, has to take the tackle. He was a dummy half, now with Bishop, tactical kicking. He should know every inch of this ground, should Paul Bishop, and he finds touch in the Warrington 25. Good tactical kicking, and Bishop, he'll just calm it down. He'll know he's not got to lose his cool, and Warrington, they'll have to try that a little bit harder. Down to 12 men. Kelly Shelford feeds the scrum, obviously the regular scrum half. Ellis sent off, but these rugby league scrums certainly leave a lot to be desired, don't they? So after today's match, it's with the old traditional fixture. Saints penalised, offside at the scrum. Sonny Nicol breaking too quickly. as Warrington came up for the ball. Sonny Nicol quickly out of the blocks, obviously too quickly, and David Lyon with the penalty award. Finds touch midway between the 25 and the halfway line. Also over the Easter period, as we know, with the traditional Good Friday game and then witnessed on Easter Monday. Warrington also entertain Wigan on Easter Monday. So let's hope that Warrington can hit a bit of form and give the old pie eaters some clog right at the back end of the season. The Warrington player taking a knock there. Duane Mann, and well, the ball just being brought away. I thought Duane Mann was going to play the ball, but he's acting half back. Certainly the injury looked a little bit on the serious side, and the referee bringing the ball over and letting Warrington get on with the game. So in effect they're down to 11 fit players actually taking part at present. Rocky Turner. That tackle there. Rapati and Griffith bring him down. Sixth and final tackle of this sequence. And Duane Mann on this occasion grubbers it through, but Phil Beavers takes it. Goes crossfield. Bob Jackson homes in on him, powers him to the ground. And now Tony Sullivan coming in from the left wing. But this Warrington player still down injured just in front of us here. And certainly I think the referee's attention should be brought to it. Neil Harmon it is, just managed to see Kevin Ward, lobs it over to Alan Hunt. In a bit of space now is Alan Hunt, showing his face, going for the corner. Gives a hand off, flicks the ball up. Gary Conley was in support, but he wasn't close enough, and the ball went into touch on the far side. And John Harrison, he's taken an injury. He's after treatment as Neil Harmon led from the field, and Roland Phillips comes on a substitute for him. So fresh Welsh forward Roland Phillips come on to replace Neil Harmon, obviously in a lot of discomfort down here. He should have been treated a little more quickly in my opinion, but it's Neil Kenyon threading his way through as Warrington take the ball from the scrum on the far side. Roland Phillips now, first piece of the action. Sonny Nicol has hold of him, but they can't get him to the ground. The Warrington faithful get behind Roland Phillips. As I said before, one of three Welshmen in the Warrington side. They're in the lead over the wire by 18 points to 8. We've had 16 minutes of the second half gone. And Phil Sumner driving upfield. Bishop and Harrison in at the tackle as Warrington bring it blindside. Roland Phillips again. Here a passing round the leg. Sixth and final tackle now of this set for Warrington. Duane Mann lost it high and central. Beavers takes it kept cool and comfortably. Out to Alan Hunt. He looks for a bit of space, but he's well tackled right on his own 25-yard line there. Connolly now trying to thread his way through, but certainly the Warrington tackling has held firm. Only that Paul Bishop try to show for the state's effort. As far as the tries are concerned, Loughlin out to Tony Sullivan, has to come in field, gets it away to Griffith. He chips it. Stevens is chasing. Up to Desi Drummond, kicks it dead, and Griffith allegedly impeded, and a penalty awarded to the Saints. Jonathan Griffith coming through there, he chips it. Saints were charging, Cooper takes it quickly, it's on to Kevin Ward. Shane Cooper knows that 20 points will do, trailing by 10, and another 6 wouldn't go amiss, would it? George Mann going for the line, yes, George Mann has touched down to the right of the sticks. 17 minutes of the second half gone, and Saints on the board again. Well, another controversial decision. Well, it's controversial if you're a Warrington spectator, that is, as regards the incident over here when Jonathan Griffiths chipped the ball through. It was allegedly impeded by referee Smith give the penalty. I think it was David Lyon that was allegedly impeded him. Desi Drummond did kick the ball dead, but the penalty was awarded. Shane Cooper took it quickly, moved it over to the right. Kevin Ward had a charge for the line. held short, and then George Mann managed to wrestle over at short range. Another 6 points to the Saints if Paul Loughlin can be successful with this. Well, it's the post. So the goal obviously waved away. 18 points to 12 the score. 6 points between the teams. And wouldn't that have been okay? Well, Paul Farber, he's back on the field. I think it's John Harrison that's gone off. Yes, John Harrison has been replaced by Paul Farber. He'll relish this. Back in the action is Paul Farber. Jonathan Griffiths moving over to the right. Good ball onto Tirapassi. Connolly on the far side. He comes in field. He's still in the field of play. But Saints putting a charge together, trailing by 6 points. And looking to spread the ball out quickly. Loughlin again, out to Tony Sullivan. He has to step in field. Tries to round his man, but Desi Drummond right in at the action there. Farber at dummy half, on to Bishop. Inside to Kevin Ward, he straightens it up. Ward still driving up to the 25, on to Bishop again, out to Cooper. The ball's hit a Warrington man, it'll be another 6 tackles. Yes, that's the correct decision. Beavers on to Griffiths, out to Connolly, threading through, looking for support. Nobody with him, Tirapassi had just overrun him. Now with Cooper. Beavers, lofted ball to Sullivan, he can't take it. He missed Sonny Nicol out, did Phil Beavers. And missed Sonny Nicol out. Anthony Sullivan couldn't take it, the ball gone to ground. And Saints just putting a bit of a patch together. If Paul Loughlin just could have popped that over, that would have obviously made the gap 4 points, so a converted try would have given the Saints a lead. Warrington down to 12 men, it must be said. Kelly Shelford at the back of the scrum there. Warrington in possession. Roland Phillips. But Saints penalised, not lining up behind each other. Had to play the ball. Saints captain there, Shane Cooper, obviously not impressed with that decision. But breaking too quickly, not lining up in the correct manner. And Warrington awarded the penalty. In the last quarter of this game, Warrington making a substitute. Basil Richards coming on to replace Phil Sumner. Had a good game as Phil Sumner. Blockbusting runs with Neil Harmon, who's just been replaced a few minutes earlier. With Warrington in possession. Gary Mercer, George Mann wrestles him to the ground. 2 New Zealanders together as Warrington bring it blindside. Kelly Shelford, inside ball there to Dwayne Mann. Tries to get it round the man, but George Mann gets the ball. Sonny Nicol at dummy half. Bishop takes it on to Cooper. Back to Shane Cooper from Tirapassi. It's now with John Griffiths. Change of direction. Inside to Sonny Nicol. Quick transfer into the ball is going to be the main thing. But Sonny Nicol brought down. Des Drummond moving in from the right wing, looking for a piece of the action. Centre field. Farber just takes his eye off the ball, and Rocky Turner has it. But Connolly, he's penalised for reaping the ball out of the Warrington players' hands. And as we know, that's illegal now. No stealing of the ball. So David Lyon kicks it just into the Saints 25. Warrington now trying to put a charge on. A 4th minute Harmon try and a Turner goal extended the Warrington lead to 18 points to 2 after the half-time lead of 12-2. But Saints hitting back with 2 tries. One converted by Paul Loughlin, but it's Warrington now. 12-man Warrington. Pressing on the Saints line. Roland Phillips looking for support. He gets it there. And Warrington there held just short. 3-man Saints tackle. And this will give the Wire fresh hope if they can score here. Basil Richards just come on the substitute for Phil Sumner. taken down on the far side by Gary Conley and Jonathan Griffith. Mercer going for the corner, yes. Mercer saw the gap in the Saints defence, went for the corner. The Saints cover defence came in field, and Mercer went in. An excellent try for Warrington. Gary Mercer scores the try. The Warrington supporters are delighted, and why shouldn't they be? 12-man Warrington, since Ellis was dismissed for a trip on Paul Bishop after 7 minutes. And Warrington came in close, right under the sticks, moved it out to the left. The Saints defence was drawn in field, and Mercer went for the corner. The Saints couldn't stop him. Difficult conversion now for Rocky Turner. 22-12 at present, with his conversion to come. Strikes it well, lost it high. Oh, just waved away by the touch judges. So a 10-point cushion now for Warrington, back to the 10 points. And Saints are back to the drawing board again. Just over 15 minutes of the game remaining. Bishop will restart us from the centre spot. And Paul Bishop now gets us underway. Deep kick. Taken by try-scorer Mercer in the in-goal area. George Mann comes up and meets him. Barber marks up. Now Desi Drummond. Speed merchant. Desi Drummond breaks through the... Well, I beg your pardon. Basil Richards. And it was centre field. I thought Desi Drummond had come in for a piece of the action. He has been coming in. He's not had a lot of running chances. But it was Basil Richards, freshman there. He is a forward, but he's come on as substitute back. Running hard and strong, and this is what Warrington will need. Two fresh, big men to hopefully take the escape. George Mann going in there on Gary Mercer. There was a high tackle, but there was nothing malicious in it, I can assure you. As we know, last week when McNamara was sent off against the Saints, and fair play was done when the disciplinary committee ruled that sending off was sufficient. We know on that occasion, when you watch it again, it didn't look all that bad on the video, but the referee has the decision to make on the spur of the moment. But it's Warrington now with another penalty. Saints forced to defend, 22-12 in the lead, and 15 minutes of the game remaining. Be an excellent boost for Warrington at the end of the season. All Farmer penalised. Pulling the man back in his effort to play the ball, and I wouldn't be surprised if Warrington don't have a goal for goal to extend the lead to two converted scores. Yes, David Lyon, I think it is. It's going to be, no, David Lyon's at the back, it's Rocky Turner. Rocky Turner, 3 goals before this afternoon. David Lyon has been the more or less regular goal kicker, and Turner has been injured. But Lyon, he's 35 to his credit. But Turner, 2 so far this afternoon, looking for his 3rd. Gone to the left of the stick. Oh, just sneaking in at that left hand upright. 27 minutes of the second half gone. Turner with his 3rd goal of the afternoon. Oh, beg your pardon, his 4th goal of the afternoon. 24-12 the score. So 2 converted tries is the gap between the teams now. Basil Richards. Barber and Mann taking down. Dwayne Mann for Warrington attacking half. Now with Mercer. Saints will be looking to peg Warrington down at that end, but with tackling like that, it'll certainly be a hard job. Bob Jackson bringing it over to the right. Sonny Nicol in at the tackle. Last tackle of this sequence for Warrington. So this ball Dwayne Mann kicks it right down Phil Beaver's throat. Inside ball to Tony Sullivan. He'll move cross field. He straightens up now. The Warrington Reception Committee bring him down 10 yards short of the 25. Now it's Tirapati out to Sonny Nicol. He's on his own on the wing here. Sullivan has got in field. He's well tackled. Alan Bateman brings him to ground. Now it's Forber. Brings it blind. Forber looking to get things underway. Put the ball to Tony Sullivan. I think it certainly looked to him forward and Sullivan just couldn't take it. Scrum down, Warrington feed on the 6:25. 11 minutes of the game to go and 12 points between the teams, so it's a point a minute provided the Saints get the ball. Rocky Turner at dummy half, inside ball there, taken by Mark Forster. Another speed merchant in the Warrington ranks. Richards from back in half-back, but he's going nowhere. George Mann wraps him up. Now with Lyon looking for the drop goal. Gone to the right. Obviously Warrington looking for that one-pointer, which will certainly make the Saints' task a lot harder. It's hard enough as it is now with 12 points in arrears. But Loughlin out there, out to Connolly. Alan Hunt's in field, but can Connolly outpace the Warrington defence? Gets past the first defender, has to take the tackle. Lovely ball from Paul Loughlin on the far side. Warrington have regrouped now, and Saints bringing the ball out, spreading it along the line. Beavers as the extra man. Loughlin has to stretch for that ball, he's going cross field. Good ball to Alan Hunt. Turns it back inside, but right to a Warrington hand. Whether it was called for or not, but Saints penalised. Obviously somebody saying something out of turn. As Alan Hunt turned in that tackle, threw it inside. The Warrington man was there. He took it thankfully, but somebody obviously saying something out of turn in the Saints ranks. Saints were penalised, and Warrington fine touch just short of the Saints 25. Bob Jackson putting the charge on. 12 points in the clear of Warrington. The last 10 minutes of the game. Roland Phillips. East centre field. I feel that Warrington may still have a go for this one-pointer if they have a central field position. But Richards running hard and strong. Dwayne Mann attacking half-back. Now with Turner. Warrington still in possession. Saints urge to get back on side. Mercer attacks in half. Chip through, touch the Saints' hands there. Warrington have it, yes. And Warrington are in for another try. Excellent try for Warrington. Another nail in the Saints' coffin. But that was Saints. Warrington in possession. They chipped it through. It is the Saints' hands, and Warrington following it up. And I don't know who actually... and it was Mark Forster that actually finished off. So that's the nail in the Saints' coffin, no way back. It was hard enough at 12 points. But now it's going to be 18 points gap. Certainly against the run of play. As regards the Saints, certainly it's in a lot of form. But they come here against a Warrington side that's just had their ego boosted, obviously by winning against Salford last week, even though it was just by 14 points to 10, but they put them in good stead. Turner lofts it over. And that makes it 30 points to 12. Not bad there for Warrington. Playing with 12 men from the 7th minute of the second half. And they've inflicted, what, 3 tries in the second half. 2 of them with only 12 men on the park. kick it directly into touch from the kick-off. Penalty for Warrington. Whether they'll elect to pop it over, and the substitute being made now. Kevin Ward coming off. Paul Groves coming back on. So Saints there with the full complement of substitutes made now. Kevin Ward coming off. He took a nasty hand injury last week against Hull. He had to go to the blood bin for around about 12 minutes it was. He was off the field. Bob Jackson coming off and Phil Sumner coming back on. Groves right in at the action. But it's Roland Phillips that has possession. Dwayne Mann from dummy half. Scampering run. Finally brought down there. Roland Phillips. Power play again, bringing it blindside. Takes urge to get back onside by referee Smith. And Warrington spreading it along the line. It's straightened up, the ball's lost. George Mann gathers it. Rocky Turner in the... George Mann tackled him. The ball was released one way or another. It came out of his hand, and Bishop again ducking under the saddle, but Richards throws him another 5 or 10 yards further forward. But Saints in possession. Certainly out of sorts today. Laughlin onto Sullivan, puts his head down, chips it right into Lyon's hands. Desi Drummond was chasing him. He was homing in on Tony Sullivan. Sullivan chipped it and Lyon was right there, well positioned. Neil Kenyon, the left winger for Warrington, coming in field. Lots of Warrington cover coming over to this Saints left flank.
Nice one, Mark. You count it down.
Gary Mercer evades the tackle of Shane Cooper, but Sonny Nicol comes in. Now it's Roland Phillips, Sonny Nicol and Jonathan Griffiths complete the tackle, and it's the 6th and final one of this sequence. And Dwayne Mann brings it blindside. Bounces well, and at such an acute angle it bounces well and goes into touch in the Saints 25. We're scrum down with the Saints speed. Warrington sponsors man of the match going to Gary Mercer for this afternoon's match. A lot of good play in the Warrington ranks. Certainly Bob Jackson's had an excellent game. But Alan Hunt in a bit of space now, trying to go on the outside, but taken just in the Warrington half. Well, holding down is the indication that they play the ball. You certainly see a lot of mauling at the play the ball, and then the incidents like that where there's not much action and the referee blows up. But Saints, having been awarded the penalty, try a last chance to get points on the board. Trailing by 30 points to 12, and we've only 3 minutes of time remaining. Interception there by Warrington, but he's knocked it forward. Unlucky there. Alan Bateman, a long cut-out ball for the Saints, and Bateman couldn't take it cleanly. And Bishop feeds it. Saints have scrum possession. Beavers, Connolly with Laughlin. Laughlin giving the dummy, has to take the tackle. Certainly Saints definitely out of sorts this afternoon. Connolly turning in the tackle, always looking to release, but excellent clamp tackling there by Basil Richards, right in centre field. Bishop again, inside ball to Cooper. The ball's loose. Connolly tidied it up. Well, a knock on. I don't know how the man can give a knock on there. He was actually facing his own line, was Cooper. The ball came out of his hands in the tackle. some way. As we've said before, obviously a grey area, but referee Smith gives the scrum with the Warrington feed. And Kelly Shelford to feed. Warrington have possession, tidied up at the back. George Mann completes the tackle. Warrington in their own 25 in the dying minutes. Roland Phillips coming through, and solid tackling as the Saints come in. Referee's right on the job, but it's Nickel and Farber. Phil Sumner, Farber again, Farber and Cooper complete the tackle. Dwayne Mann, Kelly Shelford along to Richards. One minute of normal time plus any stoppage time, and no problem or no question. Well, Saints capitalise on that. Lyon missed there, just took his eye off the ball. Bishop, Rapati, yeah, side steps through Rapati and goes in behind the sticks. Only a consolation try, we can say. But Tia Rapati, an ever-present with the Saints this season, going in for his 17th try of the season. Paul Loughlin wants to tag the points over quickly. Just waiting for the sand bucket to come on, but no sand. But it's immaterial really. 30 points to 18, possibly the final score. 30 points to 18 the score now. Loughlin's third of the afternoon. His 20th of the season. We must remember he's been out for 6 months with a real bad injury. And lots of players here this afternoon looking for the tour spot. Mal Riley's here in the stand, and he'll be looking to finalise his team. Warrington with a shabby kick-off. Saints did it for the last kick-off, and now Saints take the quick tap from the centre spot. Sonny Nickel back-pedalling, wrestled to the ground, 10 yards inside the Warrington half. There's the full-time hooter. An emphatic win for the Saints, trailing by 12 points to 2 at half-time, but excellent play from Warrington. They came out in the second half, they meant business, and it was Neil Harmon that went over in the 4th minute. Turner goaled it, and that was 18 points to 2. Then Saints sit back, a bit of a purple patch for them. In the space of 9 minutes, an 8th-minute Bishop try converted by Loughlin, a George Mann try unconverted, right near the sticks, and that would have brought Saints back within 4 points. But then Gary Mercer went over, an excellent diagonal run in the far corner, and you must remember now that Warrington, they was down to 12 men from the 7th minute, but then it was all Warrington. Another a Turner penalty goal in the 27th minute, a 31st minute forced a try after Saints had knocked the ball down after a chip through by Mann, I think. Turner goal, 30-12, and then just a consolation try at the end with Tia Rapati going under the sticks. So the final score here from Wilderspool Warrington is Warrington 30 and Saints 18.